So I bought the building, and then, when you buy the building, you have to put 20% down. So I already used that money and buy the building, but then I still mortgage the building, which is the tenant will pay for the mortgage, really. So I will wait another 2 years to buy another building if I need to buy it. And guess what? I never plan to have all this building. It's everything come from me unexpectedly. But this is what I believe. You get what you give. And nothing come something like it's not because of, oh my God, you are so vivid business, entrepreneur. You're so smart. You have vision. I do have vision, but I feel like I have such a good intention.
What do you give?
I give a lot to people around me. I be honest. With the building that is trying to sell, I told the owner, I said, listen, I'm not gonna turn this building to something else. I give my intention. I'm gonna make the business owner, like the bookkeeper, to be a business owner. So they start me because I bid the building. So I sent the business plan. I told the bank, I said, I'm not gonna turn this place to be something else but the bookstore. So that's my intention. That's what my giving.
You give goodwill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then the bank see it. So now it's come to the bid. I was the second bid. I didn't even know I'm gonna get it, but for some reason I got it. And I feel like it's such a good karma because I know Claire that owned the building, she's a bookkeeper for them. She want to own the business. Yeah. And she's very smart. She's a bookkeeper. She know what revenue that bring to the bookstore to survive, to be business, to success in the future. And she did it. She here 10 years later, she still make money.
This episode made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, chef owner of Chang Thai Cafe and the Catch, Emshika Alberini. Emshika, my lady, are you feeling unstoppable today?
Oh, I'm ready. I feel unstoppable every single day.
I'm so psyched to have you here. I've talked to a few folks and I've done a little bit of research, and I hear that you're just so positive, and even just in our conversation, getting ready, your mindset of big picture, owning the buildings, owning the assets, having multiple channels of revenue, creating product lines, getting on television, promoting yourself. I have a feeling this is going to be a really great interview. Real quick, paint the picture of what your portfolio looks like today. Just list those items.
My portfolio, like number one that people see me is not, it can be chef, but most likely is entrepreneur, woman entrepreneur that, I'm a mom, I'm a chef, I'm a, restaurant owner, real estate, landlord, and you can name it. I own it all.
Yeah. I love that. So you have Chang Thai.
Yeah.
You have Catch. Mm-hmm. You had product lines in the past.
Yes.
You're bringing those back.
I'm bringing that back next year, 2025, at the end of the year. I'm going to take a little time off at the beginning of the year to just restore myself and probably get a little bit more better crystallized to bring a better thing the end of 2025. Yes.
And you own how many buildings?
4.
4 buildings. So with all those assets, what's your total gross revenue?
Well, over $1 million, probably, but less than 2 million.
Okay.
It's not the high as people think, but the value of the future when, add it all up, will be worth like 4 million.
Wow. And what would you say your percent profit is on the restaurants?
I set up percent very strictly. Since I opened the restaurant, my revenue should be profit at 25% at least.
Wow. Man.
You can ask me why, how.
Yeah, we can get into that,
yes.
But you're doing great. I can't wait to get into the details. Before we dive into who you are and how you got to where you are today, let's get that motivational, inspirational, ball rolling with a success quote or mantra. What do you got for us?
Keep going, quote, keep going, unstoppable, just like yours,
yes,
right?
Keep going, unstoppable. Why is that your quote? Why did you choose to share that with us today?
You have a life, every day when you count your breath, you count your blessing, but you're not going to stop. When you stop, you're not breathing. So
Yeah.
You
If
just
you're
keep
not
going.
growing, you're dying.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love this. Great way to get it started. And where does it make sense to start sharing your story? Because you didn't open your restaurant until 2008, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I saw that you were in like inventory management.
I worked for corporate for years. I graduated in degree of management from New York, and I work for like a Fortune 500 companies for almost 3 years. So I'm very skilled in like management.
So you're from Bangkok, Thailand.
Yes,
When did you come to the States?
2000
2000. You had a degree before that, right?
political science.
Political science.
Yes.
And then you went back to school when you came here in 2003?
I want to be a professor because, I had a degree in political science. My dad was a high rank military. I have a minor in sociology. So I feel like academic is very important to me.
I can see that. You keep on going back.
Yes. I feel like I'm a student of life. I never stop learning. Like not only knowledge of management, cooking too. I combine all. It's learning. I'm a student.
I love that. You can't stop learning, especially in this world today where the world around us is constantly changing. If you're not learning and growing with the world around you, you're going to be left behind.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you also went to MIT. You got a certificate there.
Yes.
And then you also have a certificate from Harvard.
Yes.
Wow, lady, like you're killing it. So that came later on, like more recently, correct?
Yeah, it was only intensive program that like very snapshot. The reason I took it is not because of the name of the institution, but the program that they offer is kind of real time environment that you are fading with, inflation. You're fading with a lot of things that you unforeseen COVID. So I want to take that time to get more skill, to get more knowledge, to see how can we manage it. Maybe I can learn, maybe not. I don't know, but I take it anyway.
Yeah, and I think I took some notes when you were at MIT, or that certificate that you got at MIT. It was I wrote it down somewhere. I thought I did at least.
Information.
Yes. Thank you. And what were you doing at Harvard?
I did something about managing change at Harvard.
Cool.
Yes.
Really important things to have in your arsenal, your suite of tools as an entrepreneur. So I'm sure that will come out in today's conversation. But going back to 2000, you came to the States. When you came to the States, you said you wanted to be a professor. That was your goal?
Yeah, but I came here as a nanny.
Okay.
I was a au pair in New Jersey as a J1 visa.
Okay. When did you start thinking that you might want to open a restaurant? When did that happen for you?
I work at a restaurant, I when I was nanny, I could not, but then I also spent like a little bit of time work at a restaurant. Like it's really, I have to tell you the truth. Everyone, almost, I have to say like 80 to 90% that people like, from another country, when they come here to student, they also work part-time, because it's like money ratio are different, like we come from like another country, so we make money, like you can, like as a student, you make extra money to pay rent, to pay food, to pay all the things that you need. Restaurant is one of the popular one that people will work to get those extra money.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing that's really special about the restaurant industry is its opportunity for so many people.
Exactly.
So many people, whether you're an immigrant to this country and you need opportunity, or whether you took a wrong path in your life and you need to get right back on the right path, like the restaurant industry is a great way to get back on the right path.
Yes.
It creates, or if it's your first job ever,
Yeah.
like there's always a home for you in the restaurant industry. And I think that's so important. Why do you think that's so important?
It's work ethic. Work hard. Everyone that work at the restaurant, it's not normal hours.
Right, it's hard work.
I went to work, from 8 to 5. I work at the restaurant from 6 to 10. What do you think about that? Like that, probably 12 to 13 hours a day.
Right.
And when people doing that, it show that you are a hard worker. We can label that.
So you started working in the restaurant industry to make money to pursue your career at the time, which was to become a professor, or this time were you thinking you wanted to get into management?
No, I just want to go to school to study.
To study.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it was 2006, after 6 years of being here, that you decide that you want to open a restaurant. What was going on in your life that made you pivot from working in corporate America, doing inventory management, to wanting to open a restaurant?
Well, I actually, during my restaurant, when I was, went to school in New York, I have like a dream that I want to make a business plan to open a Thai restaurant somewhere, maybe somewhere. I don't even know yet. My sister was a chef in New Jersey. She came as, like student as well, and she worked at the restaurant. And when I got married in 2006, so I live in, New Hampshire at that time.
Where in New Hampshire were you?
I was living in Littleton because my ex-husband is from Littleton, New Hampshire.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a news from I got a phone call on my birthday that my
On your birthday?
Yes, at 5 a.m. More than before 5 a.m. actually. I thought that my sister called to say happy birthday, but it's actually the police in New Jersey calling that. Just want to let you know that your sister passed away.
Oh my gosh, that on your birthday.
On my birthday.
That's so rough.
2007. Yes.
2007. Take me there.
Yes.
What was going on?
She got accident from in her apartment with smoke inhalation.
Oh, no.
So that dream still, it was a very tough year for me, Not having, moved from New York to live in New Hampshire, got job here and there. I have to admit you that when I left New York, work for the big company like GE, come to New Hampshire, I didn't get a job. I was hoping get working at ice cream shop, scooping the ice cream. I have my master degree of science, but I couldn't get a job up here.
What was going on up here? Why do you think you could not get a job up in Littleton, New Hampshire?
It's a small
2006.
Small town.
Yeah.
Don't have a lot of job offer, and then I apply many places. They rejected me. I just think that it because of maybe my English, maybe I still don't know. I got rejected every company I apply for. So I work at waitress. I work, for restaurant. I work at Chinese restaurant. I work at ice cream place, at burger. At that ice cream place, actually, it's the cash right now that I own the building. So
I love that.
I work at the diner, a Topic of the Town on Main Street. But then when I was working at Topic of the Town, I already got the news that my sister passed away. So later on, I got a job in Vermont. I worked for inventory management. So at that time, I pregnant with my first child in 2007 to 2008.
And what was your master's in?
Science of Organization.
Science of Organization.
Yes.
And you get a job at an inventory. Managing inventory.
Management inventory is very science. I work for direct with accounting department. I create bill of materials for engineering. So that's my background. I always work for inventory control, accounting, information system. So it kind of they see my skill at that company, which is the company called Littleton,
right,
in St. Johnsbury, Vermont.
I want to pause real quick because I think what you said you went from not being able to get a job in the town to owning the town, owning multiple businesses. And I think that is such a great inspirational, being an immigrant, coming here and not being able to get an opportunity, and then willing these opportunities into existence, and then going to actually owning 4 buildings. Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Emshika.
Yeah, you're not gonna let the opportunity serve you. You have to search for opportunity.
Yes.
And people always think oh my God, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can buy this. But how? At that time, I have to think a lot of things outside the box. I can talk more about it. I probably want to share a lot of secret stories.
I think we're going to get into that. But the other thing that I wanted to highlight, and I think this is crucial to your success, I'm assuming it's crucial to the success you've had, inventory management.
Yes.
And assembly, for project assembly, and what was you said something, you were inventory management for what?
Inventory control for the products.
Product the production, is that what you said?
Production is something that you can build, materials.
Okay, think about what we're doing in the restaurant industry.
Exactly.
If we're building, we have products, goods that get brought to us, and we manage those goods, and we bring them together, and we that is such a critical part of the success. When I saw that in your resume, looking into doing my research, my eyes lit up, because that is where I would argue a lot of restaurateurs go wrong. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Why do they go wrong?
Well, you have to manage your money. You have to manage your management. You have to manage your cash flow. A restaurant is tough. You think about like I was inventory manage the metal, the plastic. But this is food. It's expired in 24 hours sometimes. Yeah. So how you can do that? I have a skill of inventory control. I have a skill of inventory, like cost control, which is help to be like just-in-time management. When I was at GE, I worked for Six Sigma project, like green belt, black belt. It's a lot of things that I can bring that knowledge to apply for my business. Really, like people think like, oh my God, you work for corporate, it's not going to be associate, and it's actually it's the same. It's science, Yeah. So
I think that's just so huge, and I love hearing that in your backstory. I mean, I want to pull nuggets out of you when we get to the point where you open your restaurant and how you manage your inventory. So you find out your sister passes. You're working in the town of Littleton. You're doing inventory management, corporate America. When did you decide to open a restaurant?
I was walking on Main Street one day. This was a building that used to be a Pizza Hut, like not Pizza Hut. So sorry, like a Go House Pizza, right?
What kind of pizza?
It's called Go House Pizza.
Okay,
it's like next door.
Got it.
They moved. So that time, there was an incident in 2007, 2008 that this building got hit by drunk driver that, like, I don't know what was going on. So the landlord has to shut down the building and the tenant that, the pizza place has to move out. So the building has been empty and then little tiny sign less than 12 inches, like this much. It's safe for rent, So I was like, about 7-8 months pregnant. I look at the sign. I was like, oh my God, I probably like maybe take a chance, call him, see what's going on. It's like, hey, are you like, interested to rent? Like and he asked me, his name is Littleton, and he asked me, what would you like to do? I said, I want to do Thai restaurant. But he was open warmly. He said, yeah, you know what? Like let's talk about it. And he rent me very inexpensive. It's like $800 a month.
Wow. And this is leading into just before the recession. So the recession hadn't happened yet.
Almost there.
Yeah. Do you think that might have been why you got a cheap rent, or is it because the building needed work?
Building need work, but then my landlord got like insurance, so he helped me halfway. He gave me he owned a restaurant too. It's called Grand Depot. At now it's like Little Grill. Okay. So he gave me a 3-basing. He said 3-basing is probably the most expensive thing that you probably will need it. So I'll give you 3-basing. And
what are you saying? I just want to make sure I'm understanding. 3-basing?
3-basing.
Oh, 3-basing. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
So it's just funny that how the landlord would think about to help tenant with the sink but why sink, And I don't know why. I still don't understand. Maybe he have extra. He just want to give it to me. And he has been tremendous helping me at very beginning. He helped me build a kitchen wall and flooring. But at that part of them, maybe because he would just want to get a tenant, move in.
He knows your success is his success.
Yes.
And when he is in the restaurant industry, he knows, he wants you, like, he knows, he's empathetic with your situation.
He does.
I should say sympathetic because he's gone through it.
Yeah, and then I was pregnant. He see like, oh my God, like, she's a pregnant lady. And then how could she, she want to open a restaurant during this time. And not only that, the project has been coming. The Main Street is going to shuffle this road, and people keep telling me that you're gonna fail. Like next door, you said, the place. A lot of people said like you're not gonna make it.
Why were they saying that? What was their reason?
The reason for that because in 2009 they have a plan in this town to dig the sidewalk.
Oh yeah.
So you have to see a lot of construction. Gonna be along the sidewalk for a year, and I'm open the restaurant. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Did Rick know that?
He knows.
So he knows. He's like, I'm not going to set this person up for failure. We got to make this a reasonable to get started.
Yeah.
Did you have a number in your head in 2007 what you thought it was going to take, like what you projected your opening costs were going to be, like a pro forma?
To be quite honest, I never think I'm gonna make like reach up to like even $500,000. I don't think if I can make to like 200K, and I owe the credit card company that I use the credit card to invest the restaurant for $40,000. My mind was like, okay, if I can make 100K for first year, 100K, I'll make this place, working.
So wait, you opened this place with $40,000 all on credit cards that you pulled out. Why didn't you try to get a loan?
I got rejected for all the banks. They never get me a loan.
Why didn't they give you a loan?
I wrote my business plan, but they still think like, I don't have credit score.
Oh, okay.
I don't have house. I don't have anything. I don't have asset.
Were you married? Did your husband have like assets, or with your husband, did you have assets?
We have a mortgage at the house,
Okay.
but then the house that we bought is like 200K back then. So I mean,
So you didn't own the house.
We own the house, like we pay a mortgage,
Right.
but we don't have like the house doesn't have equity.
Mm-hmm.
We just bought the house like a year ago, and now I open the restaurant, and they see like, and they think it's gonna be high risk because the population is so less. But back then, Eric, on Main Street, more than 5 empty store on Main Street.
Well, I was curious about that. Like, what was the economic situation of Littleton back in 2007?
Quiet. Yeah.
It's a beautiful town today. I loved walking around yesterday, and like it's really cute.
Yeah.
I didn't see any vacancies when I was walking around yesterday.
Not in 2007.
What up, Unstoppable restaurant owners and operators? We have to interrupt today's video to let you know that Restaurant Unstoppable and Restaurant Systems Pro, we're taking our relationship to the next level. Beginning in July of 2024, Fred Langley, CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, is making himself available once a week in Restaurant Unstoppable Network to answer all of your restaurant systems questions, whether it's the profit margins. He will look at your P&L. Bring your P&L. He will take a look at that. He will dissect it. He will help you find your profit, whether that be through budgeting, inventory management, costing recipe cards, labor, checklists, you name it. He is a master on restaurant systems, and he's making himself available to you. Fred Langley and Restaurant Systems Pro started as a consulting firm, and for over 16 years, they've been helping their clients increase their profit by 10% or more. What are you waiting for? Click the link below to join our Facebook group, Restaurant Unstoppable Network.
So what was going on in 2007? Was there just not a lot of opportunity here?
Well, there are like a different company. Like, I seen a lot of empty store, like just out now. It was empty for 3-4 years. It's not open. Like, like not a lot of people in town can make the business work for more than like 4-5 years.
Okay. And it just wasn't enough people here. Is that what changed over the past, I guess, the 2007 to like 15 years?
Yeah, 16 years ago.
16 years ago.
So I think at that time I do a little bit rough of my research that without looking anything. You think about, I see Chinese restaurant across the street. Like, okay, we have Chinese restaurant, 2 of them, 3 of them actually. But then what is gonna make it bad if we have one Thai restaurant? There's no Thai restaurant in this area. It's one of Thai restaurant you have to go. It's in Senjie at that time. So, and then I look at like another thing that I was thinking about, they call like a market research, right? So they have Home Depot and Lowe's and Applebee's coming. So I feel like these big company already did research that they population, even though it's little at that time, but they foreseen the opportunity. They foreseen this town gonna be like booming.
It's a beautiful town, and I think it's these types of towns. These, I would call them small cities, like your I would say like Lewiston, Maine, Littleton, New Hampshire, Rochester, New Hampshire, Dover, New Hampshire. I can't think of specific examples in different parts of the country because I don't know other parts of the country that well. But I mean, I could say like out west, you seeing like Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, where these towns where people left this town during the turn of the 20th century, early 20th century, when the industrial age came to an end. They all went to the big cities like New York, Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, because that's where the jobs were. And these shells of cities got left behind. We don't need the cities anymore to make money. So people are moving back to those cities. I think it's a really exciting time for small independent operators.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, $40,000, lady? How did you make this happen with $40,000? What was unique about this story?
I got a credit card from like one of my family, like let me lend it because she believed I'll make it work, and it I believe it I can afford that for $40,000. I feel like how much I can afford it, probably just $40,000 if I fail, right? So I take that risk to use that $40,000 to invest. So most of the expense are going to like electrical and plumbing actually.
Well, I was going to ask when you opened in 2008, where did that 40,000 go? Did you have to invest in like kitchen supplies or assets, or was that already set up for you?
No, Rick just give me the floor and wall, and that's it. So I have to pay for electrician. I have to pay for plumbing.
Okay.
That's like 10K at that time, like 10K of each unit. So I have 20,000 left.
Wow.
And that 20,000 I bought the wok, so I can cook faster. I bought like restaurant equipment. I first used a lot of like table and chair from IKEA. So it's a little bit, less expensive. But I know like maybe I make more money now, throw it away, but it served the purpose because at very beginning I just opened only one side. So it's small enough to use it and then just make it a little bit more modern.
Got it.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know today, would you have had Rick cover the cost for electrical and plumbing with like tenant improvement?
He should.
He should?
Yeah. Because of, it's the building.
He owns the building.
And I now I'm a landlord. I feel like, wow, I'm paying with electrical and plumbing at beginning of it. If I rent the space for tenant, it needs to have the floor, I need to have a wall, like very basic beginning,
right. I'm also kind of curious as to why it needed plumbing and electrical if it was a restaurant before you moved in.
Everything got moved out. With restaurant, plumbing need to be very specific. You need like air gap. You need something that very just to suit the restaurant. Maybe at that time he feel like because of, at the restaurant and the rent could be inexpensive because I'm not going to provide you any cost of plumbing.
Right. Yeah. So would you have negotiated that knowing what you know now?
If I go turn my clock back, and I know, like, as my experience as of today, I would do that. But at that time, I desperate. I really want to do it. I just feel my drive is so high that I want to be like, my heart is so like, fill up when he said yes to lease me the space. That I feel like I'm going to do everything, every way to make this restaurant open. But I didn't even think about anything. I know that $40,000 can be... If I have to cut off that, I'll make it happen.
From when he's agreed to let you have the space to when you opened, how much time elapsed?
45 days.
45 days?
Yeah, I opened this restaurant less than 2 months.
45 days in less than 2 months. That's impressive.
The reason I have a very small time frame because Tyler was born on May 10, right? So Tyler, my son.
Oh yeah, you're also pregnant during this.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So during that time when I built my restaurant opened in October, my son very little, So I think my time frame is really tight. I have like less than a year old of baby that I need to take care of. So my mom friend has been helping to set up the kitchen, which is big help for me at that time.
What were your biggest challenges during this time? Like what were your biggest struggles in the first year from opening to the first year? What were your biggest challenges?
Well, I'm just like, my firstborn baby with the restaurant, like I have 2 babies at that time, restaurant and baby. So
and your husband's working full time too?
Yes, and he has been he helped me at the restaurant as well. He's a physical therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Along this line, so just managing your life, being a first-time mother, having a baby. But what about your business struggles? Were you busy out of the gate? Did you start with business?
I think it's turned out to be like people very like happy that we have a Thai restaurant. First Thai restaurant in Littleton. They don't have to go far. Yeah. They don't have to drive to Vermont. They don't have to go to down south of New Hampshire. So they really big support me. So that support system has been very day one since I opened. I see people through my whole life, like it's the life that I see people get engaged, having a baby, have like grandkid. This restaurant has been seen so much people since day one.
Yeah.
So I have been good support.
Your goal in the first year was to make $100,000.
Yes,
How much did you make in the first year?
300.
300. That's awesome. So once that first, like, how did you evolve in that first year? Like, what did you think it was going to be like, and how was it really like?
Well, at that time, you have to admit food cost is very inexpensive. So you can play in the game, but you can be like less or more or equal with other like Asian restaurant, but then your food are distinguished. It's different, right? So I learned over time that what can we make it different from others, and that will make people come because they come to see you. They come to have your food. It's not come because they're hungry, but they come to be all combined, to visit Chang Thai, to see me, to see my mom, so to see Tyler. And I think that make restaurant evolve, that it's become part of the family of the community.
So when you opened, it was you, your mom, and Tyler is your son?
Tyler is in a playpen, like right in the corner. So, and then my mom has some friend that helping, so because I just have a baby, we just need a few people to help. And that tremendous that help, at the first beginning.
So it was just basically like 3 people working here.
Exactly.
How many people do you have employed today?
Wow. I have 15.
15 at this one restaurant?
Yes. In the kitchen, it's more like a family. So I can call my restaurant is family owned because in the kitchen, mom, my brother, my sister-in-law, and that's it.
Was your mother, your brother, and your sister-in-law, were they in America or were they still in Thailand?
They were still in Thailand, but now, nowadays they're here. They came here since last year.
And when did you start bringing family from, like, when did that happen? Like, when did it go from just you, your mom, and your mom's friend to having more people, more help?
Well, it's over time I have been, having some friends, some other friends, like, it's kind of like when you see people, like, in the town, so we call, okay, can you help me? Restaurant has it has been turnover of people, have what they call it.
The
like
restaurant industry has high turnover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
So every restaurant does, like I probably turn over like, I don't know, 50 people in my whole entire 16 year.
Wow.
I hire people, overhire people. People come and help. People come and go. And so many stories that I want to write a book someday that like where and how, where does these people go now today? Where are they,
So wait, so you're saying that you have very little turnover, but more recently, more people are turning over? Is that?
No, back then, like I had people come to help me before my family got here. My brother got here. I have been having a lot of people help my mom in the kitchen and me. Yes.
So the book that you want to write, what is the sentiment of that book? Like, what would you be? I don't know if I understand what you'd be communicating in that book.
I want to communicate. It's just like the life of the restaurant. Is that something that people could see people like involved? Like not only the restaurant business itself, but it's just human of people. It's just in general.
Yeah. So one thing I'm curious about, because why do you have such a little turnover? 50 people in 16 years.
I mean, I think that's what I can count on. Like. You think it's a little? I don't know. I for me, my goal is just not changing. I just feel like people should be loyalty in like to your business.
So your goal doesn't change, and if your goal doesn't change, people will be more loyal to your business.
It's really not necessary, Eric. I think people have their own life, But who want to stay the most is you and your family.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing I was curious about, and I wish I could speak to more. I should speak to more multi-ethnical concepts and more Asian concepts, because there's a different dynamic. It seems like there's in the back of house a lot of people speaking the language of whatever that culture is, that restaurant, whether it be Indian or Japanese or Thai or Indian. But are they usually family? Is that usually the case? Like, what's the dynamic there?
The staple, the foundation going to be family. And then the family will bring in some other people to help. Yeah. But guess what? I think this is going to be the pattern. People will leave, they open their own things. They want to have their own business. And it's okay because, you want to feel your dream. But my reality is that the people that stay into your ground is your family as always. And you add up, just like topping, and sometimes you have a backbone of your, like, people will stay with you 12. I have like one of my staff that, worked for me like 12 years. And then now she went back to Thailand. And I think to find that loyal to, not get me wrong, a lot of my employees stay like 10 plus years, but there will be a time that they have to leave to do their own things.
So what's different? I mean, there's American people who, that were born here, have American culture, that let their family come work for them. If their family tends to leave faster, what's different about Thai culture where the people that come here to work, family, they stay longer?
Well, just a family.
Yeah.
It's depend on how close your family are. Like, right now I have me, my mom, my brother, my sister-in-law probably stay as is. And then if other people coming, they probably will leave because sometimes they just want to do their own thing, like what I said. And every restaurant has been, I'm sure if you ask other business owner, when you have someone working for you and then someone will leave, that they open their own thing because they will say like, I want to have my own dream. So, and that's okay, So
it should be your goal to push those people towards their dream.
Exactly.
100%.
So, and I've been created that along the way. People maybe they left me because of they want to do another they want to do their restaurant on their own. I have one of she was a server. She worked with me since day one, and now she opened a restaurant in Pennsylvania. I love her. She's a hard worker, and I never forget how hard work she is. And when we opened, we have only one waitress, and no bartender, no bar. And she has been open her restaurant probably like closer to 10 years now. So, she got her dream come true. And a few of my waitress has, have owned her restaurant too, which is good.
I love that.
Yeah.
So 2008 to 2009, you do $300,000 in gross revenue. I guess what I'm curious about is like, how long were you operating with you, your mom, and like one other person in the kitchen before you took a point of evolution? Because today you have a bar, you have bartender, you had at least 3 servers here last night. I could probably count 4 or 5 people in the kitchen at one point. I guess how long were you operating at that same approach when you started, like when you opened? How long did that like model go before you started to grow?
5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
In that 5-year period, were you doing about 300,000 each year, or was there continued growth?
It's growth very quickly.
Where were you after 5 years?
Closer to 1 million.
Closer to 1 million.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. What about your like systems during this time? When you opened, you never really managed a restaurant before, right? You were working in restaurants, but you weren't doing all the other things that you have to do. You had experience with inventory management, which is huge. But like, what were the pain points for you in terms of learning how to run and manage a profitable restaurant?
Benchmarking. I always look for the best. I always look for success. Other people. I work for the restaurant when I was a server. So the owner that teach me, he's Chinese, immigrant, and he teach me so well how to run the success restaurant, which is lower cost of the operation. How? Well, you have to have kitchen labor are fixed costs, and then like restaurant can run between 25-35%, but at that time you're talking about time every year are different. Now it's going to be like up to 35% because of the labor market. But then how can you control the fixed cost to relate to your revenue? My business model always a number, but since I own the restaurant and I cook, so I probably help to reduce the labor cost myself and my mother.
Right. Go ahead.
So that help with your fixed costs,
So doing the work yourself helps lower your fixed costs until you can increase revenue to replace yourself with employees.
That exactly.
Got it.
Right.
And then how long did it take you to start removing yourself from the business?
It take a long time. I have to say actually 10 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was here yesterday and you were here at one point, but I guess I came in just after you left. So you're able to get away now and you have other projects, you travel. So how much time would you say you spend in the restaurant now?
Oh my God. It's almost like zero.
Wow.
But I create the menu. I'm bringing like like a create special menu, and I do recipe tasting, and then I have the kitchen run on their own now. I think this is probably like when you do your own thing, very long time. Now you can operate like automated system because you set up that system by yourself, and you want the restaurant how you want to be running.
Right.
You want your food to be consistent.
At 5 years, what did your systems look like compared to now?
Is stay the same, almost like I control the book. I control everything ingredient. Like I budget how much I'm gonna take to buy like food. Like my formula is 25% of the food cost. And I still using formula since day one until now.
So your food cost is 25%.
Mm-hmm.
What's your labor cost?
I run between 25 to 30%.
So between 50 and 55% is your prime costs.
Correct.
And your profit, you said, is around 20%?
Well, it depends because I have a lot of, if I spend a lot of like supply, you have to save that call like a
Margin?
Yeah, because you don't know what you can spend. You have to do maintenance. You have to pay utilities.
Yes.
So those 20% bucket that you need to
So
be
your
using.
fixed, your cost of goods and your labor are your variable costs, and your fixed costs are 20%.
Yes.
And then that's 70, so you're at about 30% with everything else.
And you variance it. It's never be like, okay, here's gonna be 30%, but that's the forecast. That's what you want to be, but then it can be changed. It's called variable.
Right.
It could be 20, but I want to like at the end of the year. I set up 12-month forecast, but how can I make it fail? Like I have only 10% or 25% or 10, less than 25% cushion that project profitable might be gone because of some unforeseen cost that I might have to pay, something like that.
25% food cost is pretty good, would you say, right? Is that partially because of the type of food you're cooking with a lot of like carb heavy, like noodles and rice, or like what grants you that ability to have the lower food costs?
No, we use a high, like a good ingredient product. I sought my company from Vermont. We use high grade, but I use just in time management, which is when I order the food, I don't order at the same time. I order like a very good quality of food, but then I set up between I use a lot of ordering just to not cash flow, not sink in all at once.
Got it.
So if I want to project 25% and I order 20%, I leave 5% to order the next round. And then that profit in that week will bring to the next, even though you have to pay in the future, but cash flow is just flow. And then you can control other budget because that this week food cost will be high. Maybe some other budget you can spend, so you can control that cost and control other expenses. So it's a lot of controlling in the system.
Got it.
Yeah.
So after 5 years, you're doing nearly $1 million. What was the evolution?
I try to find myself. At first, it's hard because I don't know what the people will be react to my food, because there's no Thai restaurant. But now I found myself. I just be the version of Chang Thai, like be authentic as much as you can, not like anyone else, and that make me different.
So what changed to have in you to have that confidence to be more yourself?
Just focus on like my experience of food. But when you go to the Thai restaurant, you can see, okay, the same menu all the time, right?
Yeah.
My menu are different. So you can see something that almost similar to, but you can see something that not like other as well. So this is what I grew up with. This is what I travel with. This is what my aunt make for me. This is what my grandmother make for me. This is what my mom make for me.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that I can say like when you go to, I always say to people, when you go to Thai restaurant and people say, okay, that place is more authentic than the other place. And I always agree with that sentence. I said, everyone is so authentic, but we are different. So
Yeah.
give them a unique way. And I want to be unique. I want to be a version of myself.
Yeah. So when you started, I like to say when you get started, like I think people try to have such a zeroed in idea of who they are going to become. But the truth is, I think over time that as long as you have a general direction, be open to honing that direction over time, even to like, say like your general direction is north. You can be anywhere from 90 degrees to 270 degrees, like that, like north of that, right?
Yeah.
But over time, you might be from like 350 degrees to 10 degrees, and you're like honing in that direction. So your direction when you started was a Thai restaurant. And then 5 years into it, were you the only Thai restaurant in town, or were there more Thai restaurants in town?
Now there's 2, but it's in the 10 year. They just, I think we have another Thai restaurant like 4 years ago.
Okay. So now you're not the only kid in town.
No.
There's other people doing what Thai food. So you have to
Yeah.
further hone down your unique selling proposition to
Correct.
your uniqueness as a Thai person and what resonates with you and your culture and your family history.
Yeah. Yeah. At first, when I come in, like people are going to be like, but I got feedback. I listened to people, they said, oh my God, it's so expensive. No, not expensive. Sorry. It's so spicy. It is. I said, no, it's not. So I'm kind of like, how people will
Have you ever
react.
had Thai spicy like over in Thailand? It's very spicy.
So spicy.
Sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
Yeah. But then when I first opened a restaurant, I feel myself at 360 degree. I kind of throw everything in the menu. Like, I don't know who's going to react, like I kind of, but now I narrow it down. It's not going to be, I'm not from North. I'm not from South. I'm from the city. I'm from Bangkok, Thailand. It's such a melting pot. So my food is not going to be like, oh my God, it's so like spicy. It's so, it's neutral.
Right. So, I mean, I think the big thing I pull from that is, over time, like, I think when you're just getting started, you don't know what's going to hit, especially if you're a new cuisine in a city that isn't used to that cuisine. So, like, you just got to try a little bit of everything. But after 5 years, you have data. You know what's catching traction. You know what the people like. That also can help steer you to get a little more focused.
Yeah. Popular items is usually start off, right?
Yeah.
Popular item that people like get... like easy to try, like when you have sushi, you try California roll first before the raw fish.
Yeah.
So I think now I narrow it down by like not like I have like some special that, for example, I have the duck that my mom cooked with her homemade tamarind sauce. Something like curry that very specialized that is more like different than others. You know, so I have some item that. The salad that mom make like chili paste dressing, and put a little bit of sliced apple, and then people will be like, oh, like do you usually put like, it's not like some other place that you, but this is what we like. We like to add more New England flavor into it, and this is what our family is all about.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after 5 years, you get a little more brave to try different new exciting things that feel right with you. Did your business evolve in terms of like operations, or is it still pretty much the same in terms of how you operate?
Operation is the same. We add more people because the scale of business is bigger. People come to see us. Like, I was featured on a lot of, like media, but they want to know what is different. And I always say, like, when you come to see me, this is my food, this is my taste, this is what my mom made for me, So I think when they come to my restaurant, they come to my house. And that's what I say. It's not a business. It's my home.
Mm-hmm. So what was the next evolution for you after that 5 years of trying new food? When did you say you grew the most? So like, what about the aesthetic of the space? Did it always look like this, or did that change over time?
No.
Yeah.
I wish I could give you the before and after. Back then, I think we have digital camera, and then you take a picture, you print it.
Okay.
But now I have to find, it's so different. At
Yeah.
the wall, a little bit... kind of like artsy, like scrappy, but that was my own landlord Rick. He's an artist, and he's like, oh, I like this, maybe he helped me design.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what would you say the next point of evolution after that 5 year point was for you?
I change every 2 years.
Every 2 years. What does that mean? Like, what did that change look like?
Like decoration. I look into more like what is more classy, what is really like color that more like my brand.
Got it.
I redo the design of the menu. I make it more like branding of Chang Thai.
Got it. What about your menu? Was it bigger or smaller today than
Still
it was?
bigger.
It was a lot bigger then?
I try to minimize. I mean, the menu is always big because I think very beginning we have it all, you know.
Right.
And now when we want to like minimize the menu, it's so hard because people always love everything that we have.
So your menu is smaller today, or the same size?
I would say like medium size.
Medium size.
Yeah.
So it's half the size as it was when you started.
Almost like. It changed, but I feel like to me, I feel like almost the same. But I would say like mediums, you know, medium size.
Generally speaking, your menu is a medium size menu.
Yeah.
But from when you opened to today, it hasn't really changed in terms of the amount of items on it.
I think it's creating more actually.
You actually have more items.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I saw your menu, and I would agree that it's like medium. Like I've seen Asian restaurants that have a lot more options than what you have.
It's like a book.
Yeah. It's like,
you open
whoa.
like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I would agree with that. I was just kind of curious over time if you chose to eliminate things that weren't as popular to focus on what you do better, to maybe increase your or lower your cost of goods so you're wasting less or anything like that.
I'm trying to work on it. Actually, that's a really good point. That's my goal on 2025. I try to narrow it down and then use more like seasonal ingredient, like maybe change every season. But then at the same time, some people just love, they always like eat the same thing over time. But then you know what, when we can do that as well. Like when people come in, if we change the menu and then they'll be like, I can make it for you because everything made from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And that would be that's a good part of it, you know.
Right.
So I'm working on that one in 2025.
Got it.
Refine the menu.
So in terms of your growth, I mean, we got to this point, we're at the 5-year mark. We're 5 years in. You say you're continuing to evolve the aesthetic about every 2 years. What for you over, let's say from like 2013, when you're 5 years in, to the next real like struggle or like your next point of evolution where you're like, I need to do this, or you take me to a point where like a big event, whether that's like a way you did something different or you learned something new that moved the needle in your business somehow.
You mean back in 2013?
Well, I'm just trying to like bring me to like a point in your evolution that had an impact on how you do business, like a critical point in your evolution as a restaurateur.
Mm-hmm. So the critical point is how to retain the customer.
Okay, when did that happen for you? That point of where you had to learn how to retain the customer.
I would say like about 5 years to that point, 2013, 14.
Okay.
But you have to think like I'm a little bit lucky that I have such a less competition at that time. So my learning is kind of like getting feedback from customer. So how can I retain the customer? I interact with them. People see me like 7 days a week back then. My mom, they see us 7 days a week. So I ask them, so what would you like? How can we make it better? In terms of like, we don't have a lot of catering. We don't have a lot of like, but to have people come to see us every single day, that's probably like, to retain the customer. And when you retain the customer, when you don't lose the customer, you make it stable of income.
Yeah. So what did you just start doing anything different to maintain or retain your customers at this point? I
love to make my food better every single day.
Okay.
I still learning my food. I always like go somewhere, like let's say I travel to New York, I travel to Maine. I was like, oh, try this. Oh, maybe, like, and then compare like, how can we make it better? Or what make us better than others?
Okay.
So I always adjust my food ingredient,
Got it.
Maybe add something new for the special. So, and then advertising and people coming and try it and to see if they like it or not. Additional, having sushi in the restaurant also like a big part of success as well.
When did you add sushi?
I would say like 2014 or 15.
Was that a challenge for you, getting that added?
No. Actually, it's learning over time. I start very, very small, and all of a sudden it's become like popular. So it's become just like a Thai food, like / sushi.
Right. So what changed for you to be able to offer sushi?
I want to offer something that don't have in the area, something extra to the customer at that time.
But did you have somebody on staff that was proficient? Like was that within your wheelhouse? Were you the sushi chef? Or did
I was, and then
Okay,
I
cool.
hired one of the American people. He working for me for 3 years. He's amazing chef, and
Got
he
it.
used to work for like a fine dining restaurant, and he was with me for a while.
Got it.
Yeah,
When did you add the bar?
the bar has been adding on probably like 3 years after the business.
So you had a bar. You didn't have a bar in the first 3 years, but after that third year, you started having the bar.
Right.
Is that why was that a big reason why you jumped to nearly $1 million from the alcohol sales?
That's probably why too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My ex-husband was a bartender at that time, so
Okay.
he helping, and then with his customer from the his around what his business, and it been big help for us.
Was this building that you currently are in the first building you owned?
No,
What was the first building you owned?
the bookstore building.
Where is that?
Next door.
When did that happen?
2014.
14.
Yes.
So about 6 years into being a restaurateur.
Yes.
Were there any struggles being a first time building, like owning the like a landlord, I guess?
Wow, that was like tough because I didn't know I'm gonna own a building, but I know I know for sure that I want to own asset, not liquid asset, which is not money in a bank, but I want to own real estate.
Okay. Why
So-
did you know that?
I feel like real estate it's like it's not like stock market. Real estate is always going up as value as it go.
Yeah.
I know that. And for money, maybe if I have money in the bank, that money could be vanished somehow. So I turn my money or my salary or whatever I have on myself to buy the real
Yeah,
estate.
you're building a portfolio of assets
Correct.
that appreciate with time.
Yeah.
What was the building next door when you bought it?
Bookstore building.
It was just books.
Yeah.
And what was it after you bought it?
What after the bookstore building?
So you bought the building, it was
Mm-hmm.
a bookstore. Was it still a bookstore after you bought it?
Yes.
Did you ever change it?
No.
Okay, and it's still a bookstore today?
That's what my purpose. I mean, that's why the former owner of the building want to sell it to me, because at that time I asked him, I said, do you think, you want to change, you want anyone to change? And then the owner of the bookstore building now, she want to keep it. And she was a bookkeeping for them.
Okay.
And I feel like if I want to buy the building, I want to get the same. I want this town to be unique as it is. I don't want this bookstore to change to something else.
Okay. So you bought the building and you've since sold the building. Or do you still own the building?
I still own the
Okay,
building.
I misunderstood you. I apologize. What was the next growth for you after 2014, 6 years in? That was building your portfolio.
So I bought the building, and then when you buy the building, you have to put 20% down. So I already used that money and buy the building, but
Got
then I still mortgage the building, which is the tenant will pay for the mortgage, really. So I will wait another 2 years to buy another building if I need to buy it. And guess what? I never planned to have all this building. It's everything come from me unexpectedly. But this is what I believe. You get what you give. And nothing come something like it's not because of, oh my God, you are so vivid business, entrepreneur. You're so smart. You have vision. I do have vision, but I feel like I have such a good intention.
What do you give?
I give a lot to people around me. I be honest. I with the building that it tried to sell, I told the owner, I said, listen, I'm not gonna turn this building to something else. I give my intention. I'm gonna make the business owner, like the bookkeeper, to be a business owner. So they start me to, because I bid the building. So I sent the business plan. I told the bank, I said, I'm not gonna turn this place to be something else but the bookstore. So that's my intention. That's what my giving.
You give goodwill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then the bank see it. So now it's come to the bid. I was the second bid. I didn't even know I'm gonna get it, but for some reason I got it. And I feel like it's such a good karma, because I know Claire that owned the building, she's a bookkeeper for them. She want to own the business.
Yeah.
And she's very smart. She's a bookkeeper. She know what revenue that bring to the bookstore to survive, to be business to success in the
Yes.
future. And she did it. She here 10 years later, she still make money.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest lessons, that success in the restaurant industry or any industry is really about providing opportunity to other people.
Exactly.
And being the means to, if you can help enough other people achieve what they want, you can have anything in life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And that's where I think the disconnect was when you said that she owned the business. She was a bookkeeper, and now I thought you said she owned the building, not the business, and that's where I was confused before. So she was a bookkeeper, and then she bought the business, not the building.
No.
Got it.
But I see her intention. She wants to be entrepreneur. She wants to carry that legacy that Jeff, the owner, wants to have the bookstore alive many, many years, but he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But I bought the building. I keep her as a tenant. You're going to own it. You're going to make the bookstore continue. So.
You own 4 buildings today.
Yeah.
The building next door was the first building you owned. What was the second building you owned?
Crumb Bum Bakery.
Which is a couple more stores down.
Yeah.
And did you ever own that business too?
I did.
So it's a coffee bakery?
I did
shop?
own twice. I owned Smoothie Bar back then in 2015.
Okay.
So the owner of the building from Texas let me, I want to open like when you have a drive every single year. I actually pregnant with my second baby. So I own Smoothie Bar. And but the rent was a little bit high back then. So I stepped out. And he opened kind of like home interior design.
Okay.
He from Texas, but he owned the building.
Got it.
I got opportunity to own Smoothie Bar, but it didn't work out. I closed later,
Why
like in
didn't
a
it
year.
work out?
I was pregnant. I hired people to work for me, and then it's a lot of work that I think my big mistake is I don't have the leadership in that store.
Yeah. So with this store, you were here every day, and it was your family.
Yeah.
So there was that level of culture here that was inherent. It was you, your family, like that cuts deep. There, you didn't have that same level of I guess presence. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So, how long did you operate that smoothie store?
Less than a year.
When did you know it was time to stop?
I couldn't pay my bills.
Okay.
I couldn't pay my rent.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I have to sell the business. But it's break even. But then for my thing, break even is not something you want to carry on.
Right.
If you break even, you are likely to take risk to loss.
Yeah.
So
that was the second business you owned. Mm-hmm. You didn't own the building.
No.
When was the second building you owned?
Well,
that was the crumb shop.
Yes, but here's the thing. So the owner of the smoothie, when I left, so he turned that place to be home interior design.
Yep.
And later on, he wanted to sell the building.
Okay.
And I bought it.
And that's when you created the crumb.
Yes.
What's that called again?
Crumb Bum Bakery.
Crumb Bum Bakery.
But before Crumb Bum, when I bought the building, I was like, okay, let's try one more time. Because throw back to the bookstore building. At the bookstore building, before Claire, the owner, opened the bookstore, she wanted to take very little space. So I decided to put coffee shop in the bookstore building.
Got it.
So I owned coffee shop for almost like 2 years.
From what year to what year?
I believe it's 2014.
To 16.
Yeah.
And when did Crumb Bum open?
Crumb Bum open, I think it's like 3 years later.
Okay, it's like 2019.
Yeah, somewhere.
And this is now the second building you own. Right?
Yes, Crumb Bum Bakery, yeah.
And the third business you technically own, because you had owned the smoothie shop before that.
Mm-hmm.
From 2019 to when did you own and operate Crumb Bum?
I didn't own Crumb Bum. I owned a coffee shop called Pop M.
Okay.
And another coffee shop, because we when the coffee shop at the bookstore closed, called Emso. So you can see me have owned a lot of places. I'm so sorry, but
No, it's fine.
But at the bookstore, when I own Emso, it's closed because Claire, the bookstore, want to expand the bookstore bigger. And then I sold that coffee shop to another coffee shop. It didn't work out. So now the bookstore want to expand. So there's no more coffee shop in the bookstore, right?
Got it.
And then when I tried to buy another building that I used to own the smoothie bar, when they up for sale, I put the coffee shop in that building because I want to try another time. Okay, here, let's see if coffee shop work with me again. Still doesn't work out because you know why? I'm not a baker. The coffee doesn't make enough margin, and then I still have Chang Thai that I should focus on.
Right.
Chang Thai start to be a little bit like crumbling.
So get to the core of how you're learning, how you're growing as a restaurateur. What are you learning about what works and what doesn't work, and how are you getting better at this during this time?
I think what work and what not work is like how does you skill it. So when I open a coffee shop like twice and the smoothie bar, I'm not skilled to cook something like bake shop or something like to be at a coffee shop because the margin is so little. You want the coffee very tough to make margin. Only you can make like pastry. You can make a pastry chef to make just like I cook Thai food. I cook pad Thai. Pad Thai make me more margin. Same thing if I cook croissant.
Right.
I'll make that margin myself.
But you don't have the skill to do that.
No,
so
I
you
don't.
couldn't get it going. You couldn't replace yourself. You couldn't start to build to keep like you did here. You kept your costs low because you were the labor.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have that time to build that up. And so did I hear you right in saying that the challenge was what you learned is stick to your skills.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to be something you're not.
Exactly.
Unless you have an operating partner who is skilled.
Who is exactly right.
Yeah.
Because if I have like pastry chef that I hire, it could be my margin probably better. Maybe it still survive today.
Right.
So I met the owner of the Crumb Bakery on the street, and then I was like, I said, you know what? I saw you at the farmer market. I think you're probably a good, candidate to carry this coffee shop. And then she got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I guess the other thing I'm kind of curious about as you're growing, as you're evolving, I think a big opportunity for restaurateurs is owning the property you're up to 4 properties now. How did you grow as a landlord and as a real estate mogul?
You have to be customer. Like you sometimes you think like you are a landlord, that you have power. No, you are a service. You make sure that tenant is happy with your like when they call you, you pick up the phone. And I heard a lot of landlords not like that, but I do because I treat my tenant just like, like my family, my home. When you have, let's think about it. If you have like something is not working in your house, are you going to let it go for days? No, probably. I have to take care right away. This is my house. It's same thing. If something happened to my building and they call me, they said, hey, can you help me with this? And if I can help, I'll step in right away. And then it's always like that at day one.
Got it. So just making it less transactional and more finding people who you can trust, and it's having a relationship.
Exactly.
Got it. So from like, I know at one point too, you also opened your drink line. When did that happen? You got a lot going on.
I have so much, and I try everything. I think I like to learn. Maybe I never stop learning, and unstoppable just like you. So I just keep doing every single thing. I did that in right before pandemic.
Okay.
In 19 to 20.
What did you learn about trying to do that? What were the challenges associated with trying to was it the goal to be on get retail? Is that what it was?
Yeah, because I feel like, oh my God, like, my drink is so unique. Like Thai iced is very unique, but I don't see much on the grocery store unless you go to Asian market. And I want to be like streamlined, so I have opportunity to go to Exeter actually in the co-packer. And
Exeter?
In Exeter.
New Hampshire?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Seabrook somewhere.
Got it.
Yeah. Seabrook next to Exeter, right?
Yes.
So I have opportunity for them to help me can the product. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, go for it. Let's do it. And they are excited for me too because they think it's going to grow.
Right.
It's enough to be like the cost of material, which is like the cost to put in the can is higher than I expected.
Okay.
So,
and those materials were the tea leaves?
Oat milk.
Oat milk. Okay.
Yeah.
So the challenge associated with that is the unexpected potential cost of actually bringing it to market.
Yeah, and I couldn't scale big enough to negotiate with the price. And that time our product still like not like shelf life. You have to put in the refrigeration. How can you like imagine you have to like fridge every time when you deliver? That probably I tried for a year, and I have to say the feedback is amazing. I got chance to partner with like big company like rice, milk, coffee company to promote me, but it's still not not that. I think if I think back then, I feel like if I have a big investor, big money, I probably can make that happen.
Yeah.
And I focus on just that. But now because I love Chang Thai so much that I feel like I don't want to fail.
Right.
I don't want this restaurant to like not having me at that time. I feel like I want to come back to the restaurant, you know.
Right. You don't want to lose your body to save your arm.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then Chang Thai is my bread and butter. And
Yeah.
they serve that cost of making that too. I didn't have investor at that time.
Right. So if you could distill a lesson associated with that you could pay for somebody listening to this who might be trying to get into retail or start their own drink line, like what's a core lesson?
I have to say, like, you know, make sure you study well, you do some research, and make sure that how can you afford, because it's not cheap, you know, and you have to make you have to have minimum like $100,000 to make it work, and you have to scale. Like I would say, like anything that you do, you make sure your cost is not with your retail, and your retail should be higher than your cost, like at least 70%.
Okay.
You can, yeah.
Got it. So today you own Chang Thai restaurant, the building.
Mm-hmm.
You also own the library building next door.
The bookstore.
The
building.
bookstore. Yeah, thank you. You own Crumb Bum building.
Yeah.
You don't own the business though.
No.
You sold that business.
I sold Pop M to Crumb Bum.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you opened the Catch, or is it just Catch?
The Catch.
The Catch. And that's also down the street,
Yeah.
correct?
Remember when I told you that I used to help the owner like doing ice cream?
Yeah.
So that was the buildings the owner want to retire.
Okay.
And I reached out to them. We did again, you know, didn't expect that. But I, you know, with a good term of relationship, like friendship. So they like, you should, you know, own this business when you retire, because you just do summer. But then I end up to open like full year round for that business.
So you purchased a building that was an ice cream shop, and then they retired, and then you made that building into the Catch.
Yes, and there used to be like a fish and ice cream, you know.
Fish and ice cream.
Yeah, like a fry, like a
Okay.
yeah,
Got
fried
it.
fish.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you kind of took over and rebranded it. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Was it called the Catch before that?
No, they call meadow ice cream.
Okay.
They sell like, you know, like fried clam and
Got
fish
it.
and chip, and then have like a soft serve ice cream. They were great, you know. They do only summer, and then in the winter they go to Florida too.
Smart.
And then I think the owner was like, "Oh, you should have this," and then you feel like, you know, like retire.
Got it. Yeah. So when did you buy that building?
2022.
Okay.
21. Like 21 to 22.
Okay. And that tenant was already there in business.
They left. They were in Florida. They want to close. They want to retire.
Okay.
You know, and that time is after pandemic. And then I think with the pandemic, there's two things about two buildings that I buy after pandemic, because
Right.
they think pandemic gonna get worse, but it actually is became the hot market,
So
and no one knows.
Okay, let's get into that. I don't really want to dive into what happened during the pandemic, because
Yeah.
we know what happened. But like, how did you come out of the pandemic better?
So you have to be positive. I survived during pandemic. I do just only take out for 4 months, and then I back to open, you know, for full dining. At that time, remember, you do just take out, right? But my business, we have to like have nobody helping. We just do online ordering, take out. People come in, wear masks, and then grab the food and go.
Right.
But actually, it's not that bad. I mean, we can sustain like that.
Yeah. Thai food is very suitable for takeout. It was a I feel like if you had food, like maybe if it was Thai food or Mexican or pizza, anything that was traditionally takeout food, Chinese food, the pandemic was probably great for you, because people pivoted away from more full service American dining to takeout food.
Yeah.
So did you actually see increase in revenue during 2020?
No, actually, the revenue is not increased. It's down actually,
Okay.
but the labor costs are low.
Oh, right.
but the packaging is high. But again, packaging is still like not comparable with like front of the house labor or back of the house. And we use less labor during pandemic because everything is timing.
Right.
When people call like, okay, we can do how many minutes we can do instead of 20 minutes we have to do 40 minutes, but people still order anyway.
Right. So what happened that you said that the market got hot? Littleton became a busier market because of the pandemic. Why do you think that is?
Well, the owner that sold my business didn't see that. They thought market gonna crash, so they very want to sell the building, like this building too, because they feel like things gonna get worse.
Rick.
Like because I mean it is quiet. It's like people are stay at home, so the housing at that pandemic is not hot until like after pandemic a year, right? Because people from Boston, from New York. I remember when we opened the restaurant after pandemic, I have a guest from New York coming to my restaurant almost every day, and I asked him like, how could you afford my food every day? He said that, well, he from New York and he just want to get away from the city, and now he can afford it because he work from home. He can get normal income but work from home, but then living here so inexpensive that I can afford it out every day.
I think the pandemic, horrible time for many people, right? I think there's a silver lining from the pandemic for a bunch of reasons. I think it forced corporations to get lean and to adopt a more remote like work-life balance where they're now these corporations are saving money because they're not burning hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on like rent. Right?
Yeah.
So the cities, it's weird, like early 20th century, we went to the big cities. Early 21st century, we vacated the cities. And like there's this pendulum going back to like the pendulum swinging back to these markets.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be very conscious of this, and we have to ask ourselves, how do we maintain this?
Yeah.
Because we need to spread the money out of the big cities and across the country into the smaller markets. So you were lucky in the sense that, I don't know, maybe it was wise that I'm going to buy this building. Because I know that things are going to pick up here. Or what would you call it, luck or intention?
I still call it intention. I don't know why, but for sure that building with the cash right now, I feel like such a good location. You can't beat that location.
Yeah.
It's across from Burger King, and if he want to retire, you know what? He sold me for like, if it was a market for like today, it's triple.
Yeah.
And I know I can afford it. Every 2 years I got a building. Every 2 years I got a building. So I think it's opportunity. So I just invest from whatever my salary to like put 20% out. I own 2 buildings already, so I have 10, and that's income to pay mortgage. So the bank would trust me again. Here we go.
Now you have a track record.
Now I have track record. So I got that building, and with Chang Thai, when I bought this building, I don't want to, because the business is here. I don't want to be like, if I have a new landlord, then I'm gonna get kicked out. I have to save this bread and butter. So I try so hard to get this building on my own.
Got it.
Yeah.
Any advice on like how to put like your equation you use? You say every 2 years you're buying a new building. The rent you're getting from that tenant pays the mortgage. Are you putting a percentage away every 2 years, like, or every month? Are you putting money aside to be money that is your down payment? Like how much do you put aside?
So let's talk this way. When you are a business owner, you let's say you got like 100% of profit, right? What are you gonna use for 100% of profit? You have to slice wise. You have to like do that as for your personal.
Can you say that again? You have to slice rice.
Slice wise, like smart slice that pie.
Okay, slice wise. Okay,
yeah, wise. I like be smart to use that money that you make profit from your
Cash
business.
flow management.
Exactly. Don't spend it all with you can spend with your personal, like get your vacation, luxury, whatever you want to do, or like with family. But that slice you should invest to do something that gonna be like in long run. Let's say like properties, some. But I was lucky because when I always focus on the properties, like real estate. I don't know about now, but then if you want to invest something, make sure that asset should be on your book.
Right. So if you made $1 million, you are doing 20% profit. You're taking $200,000. You're slicing up that $200,000. That is profit. What do you do with profit?
So if I have profit for $250, I will slice $50,000 for my cash flow for like something that you might be emergency fund, right?
So if your profit is $250,000, $50,000 of that will go to
emergency fund. Yeah. And so you have 200 left.
Right.
So 200 left, you probably have to save it for your family, and your personal, maybe 7,000. And then you have 130 left. You can invest on stock. I mean, I don't know who, but people might be crypto or whatsoever. I probably slice 130,000 to real estate. I'm very expert. Like, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I don't have time too much to look into other investment.
So every 2 years, that gives you 260,000 to put down 20% on the next property.
Yes.
Got it. And you're saying that that's a good practice because you don't have enough time to do the research to figure out other things. So you rather just go all in on real estate because that's a good bet.
Yes.
Got it.
But is it the right time at the right time in the right way too? When I say like I have good intention with good purpose, that means look at this. I keep bookstore alive, and that's keep legacy of Littleton. What if we don't have bookstore? I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I prefer to have bookstore building.
Yeah.
I prefer to have Crumbum. That's such a good bakery in town on Main Street. I care about Main Street.
You're thinking holistically. You're not just looking out for you. You're looking out for the community.
No way. I have to like get out. I have to like revamp this building to. I believe on people that like solely entrepreneur. I believe on hardworking people. So the next door that they do White Mountain Canning Company, probably one of the best example entrepreneur I can see. This is a good thing about Main Street here. You don't see in the big city. When you come on Main Street, the whole strip, if you go visit every single spot, you can see every owner. Like you can see like this is Claire. That's Dan. You can call their name. You can call Sean. Like you see every owner on Main Street. It's how beautiful it is. They work hard.
Why is it so important that we preserve that?
I think it's preserve of integrity of the small town that you coming. You when you see owner. This is like a this. Have you I never gonna get rid of like mama and pop shop. I still love that. I'm in Generation X. I want mama and pop right to be survive in all my whole life.
Are you worried that mama and pop won't be able to do what they're doing today in the future?
A little bit.
Why?
It's a lot of work. You can see my mom still in the kitchen. She's 70. So how can we see this in the next generation? I'm not sure.
What has to change in order for us to preserve the mom and pops of the world?
Example. You lead by example. You see, this is what you can see. You teach your kid. You can go see this door. This is Dan. This is the owner that they there every single day. You see me. You see my mom. You see everyone. It should be example.
Yeah. You're striking a chord with me right now because I'm during my evolution as the host, almost 11 years now, over 1,100 episodes. I started this podcast only speaking to independent restaurant operators. And my goal was to share all these inspiring, successful stories of these people killing it in the restaurant industry, doing well in the restaurant industry. It was hard to find those people. The mom and pops were really struggling to make money. So the reality is I was going to learn about how to be fiscally and financially responsible and successful, but there were very few people in the independent world that were. So I said, well, maybe I need to go talk to the multi-unit operators, like the small corporations, the Dynex, like the companies that like the Union Square Hospitalities, right, where they own maybe at the time they have like 10 locations. And even I discovered like they're doing good, but what about the big corporations and the the franchises and the 100-unit, like I think maybe we can learn something from them too. And we absolutely learned a lot on how you scale a business and how you can pay attention to the numbers and the systems and processes. But at the same time, is that the future? Large corporations and franchises? And if that is the future, what are we losing? Right? Like what are we sacrificing for profit?
Yeah.
And I worry for like you, I worry for the mom and pops that like that's a part of culture. That's history. That's legacy.
Yeah.
That's community.
Yeah.
And if we lose the mom and pops, then what does culture look like?
Yeah.
What does Main Street look like?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. Like, I'm at this weird place right now where like, how do we figure it out? Like, what, how do we preserve this?
I think something that need to be teaching in the school. I always hope, you know, that the school can teach entrepreneur like something like subject or environmental subject that like how to sustain the business, how to support the farmer. That subject should be on the school level, you know. And I think my kid has been done that, you know, when he went to like one of the school, they teach about sustainable environment, and it's not only sustainable farm but then sustainable business. How can you know,
Yes.
if the kid want to like continue their family business, how can you do it?
Right.
You know, in the right way. And you know, who knows? Like my family, my mom is entrepreneur, my grandmother is entrepreneur. I can still say 100% I'm the third generation that own the business. So if I want my kid to own the business, I still think like maybe they don't have to own the restaurant, maybe they can own something else, but then how can you transfer that to make it them work on their own?
So the message I'm hearing is that if we're going to preserve the mom and pop enterprises, the main streets of the world, we need to educate the restaurant owner to think less like a chef, less like a bartender, and less like a manager, and more like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're here to do today, right?
Yeah.
We're here to share this knowledge so that you can, across America, start thinking like an entrepreneur, or maybe come to terms to realize you're not an entrepreneur. And maybe you partner with an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you focus on being a chef, focus on being a bartender. I mean, I think there's like, in the E-Myth, have you ever read the E-Myth by Michael Gerber?
No.
They talk about there's three types of people. There's managers, there's technicians, and then there's entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of technicians try to be entrepreneurs, but being an entrepreneur is a different business. So like I think what I hope to get out of this podcast is to help people understand that you need to stay in your lane, and you need to go with the people, you know, the people like you, the Emshikas of the world who are entrepreneurs, and find out a way to partner. So you can focus on what you do, whether you're a baker, or whether your passion's tea, or whether your passion's cocktails, and you come together and go further together. I think that is probably our saving grace, but I don't want to put words into your mouth.
Yeah. I mean, right now, when you ask me, like, you know, how much I spend time at the restaurant, I think actually I have a great team right now that I feel like everyone going to be like entrepreneur, like represent my entrepreneur. For example, I have a manager that can make drinks that I hire people with that specialty, you know, like hire the people that can manage, hire the people that can cook, hire the people can be host, hire the people can be server. And you have to hire the right people to the right in your business, you know. And then and the same thing, like, you know, to be entrepreneur, you look at like a culture Asian, like, you know, when you go to Thailand or go to China or whoever, you see the food cart, like.
I spent 6 months in Thailand, by the way. I love Thailand. So I know what you're talking about.
So you see they own everything. So they sell one thing, right, in a food cart. So they probably be a chef. They probably be a bookkeeping. They probably be everything, like all in one person. So I mean, that's small scale. But for me, my strategy to make that scale is that I have people specialize on what I need in the restaurant. You know, you cannot have, like, let's say if you have manager for the restaurant, that manager probably cannot do everything. But then you have to find the right tool to manage your restaurant to have everyone do what you need. You know, specialize it. The same thing, like I think, like, in a small business, it's hard to find people to work, but then you have to find the people that it take me for a long time to get people like today, like my team, but I still searching, and then I don't know what to say here, but someday you're gonna have people that put your vision, give your vision. You can't hire people. Oh my God.
I think I
losing
understand what
here.
you're saying. I think
Yeah, I'm losing
so.
here.
You're doing great. So I think you over time you attract people onto yourself. You recognize that somebody, say it's a bartender, has a special talent and they have a vision.
Yeah.
And when you see that they have a vision, you have to maybe invest in their vision and maybe make them a partner. So you grow together. You create opportunity for other people. Is that where you were going?
Yeah, if it's not partner in term of the business book, but then you partner of your corporate team, partner of the team.
Okay.
You know.
Not a partner of the business, but partner in the creativity.
Yes.
In the vision.
Yes.
Got it.
100%. I at first, like back in the old days, I had a feeling that sometimes I put myself too much to people, that now I attract people to me. You know, because if I go too much to like to people, I lost myself.
Right.
So when I stay to myself, this is my truth to myself, and people attract to me because they want to work for me, because this is Emshika, this is my way of doing.
Don't go to the light, be the light.
No.
Yeah.
No. And this way, guess what? It works. It's take me 16 years.
So how do you become the person that people come to instead of being the person that goes to other people?
Well, I have to say I stay behind and I focus on my business, make it better.
You
and
stay
then
behind?
I don't go to people and ask like, hey, do you know anyone that can help me with
Okay,
this?
so you stay in your business and you focus on your business instead of focusing outside of your business.
Yes.
Yes, dude. I love this because I'm
Yes.
telling people all the time, the secret to growth isn't in going to search for it. It's in doing what you're already doing better.
Exactly.
And when you put energy into, think of a light bulb.
Yeah.
When you put a little bit of energy into a light bulb, it can only get so bright. But when
Yeah.
you put a lot of energy into a light bulb, it gets really bright. People notice you.
Yeah.
They come closer to you.
Yeah.
You draw people in, and opportunity knocks down your door. And the people will come to me and they say, I want to scale. I'm like, can you leave your business today to go scale? No. Get to the point where like you have that thing humming.
Yeah.
Where it is a fine-tuned, oiled machine. You want to increase your revenue by 100%, do it with that one store.
Yeah.
And then people will come to you and be like, this is a good investment.
Yeah.
Like, is that a
Yeah.
lot? Is that what you're, that's what I'm hearing from you.
Yes, I changed my strategy. I just stay still. I hire my assistant to work with my vision. And I told her right up, this is what I want, not what you want. Okay? And she will find the people to just come to me. And then guess what? My creativity is much better. I have more time. I have more time to think. I have more time to create. I have more time to develop, renovate.
So if I were to like open the hood, on a car, right, to look at your machine underneath the hood, the engine of what is Chang Thai today, what does that look like? In other words, what do your systems look like today to get it so fine-tuned and oiled?
So organized. I have to say I'm very organized. I'm very particular.
Are you investing in technology to be better at operating, or are you analog?
I love technology. We've been changing like in technology in our restaurant 3 years in a row.
Wow.
The reason why, and my mom was like, why you spend money to like, I said, Mom, whatever it make easier, it's more quicker, transformative, and get it better, I will invest to it. Technology is so important like nowadays. So I do that.
Go ahead. So like what is that technology look like today? Like if I were to open the hood of your restaurant, what's under the hood?
POS system.
So what POS are you using?
I'm using Toast.
Why Toast?
I've been using a lot of many technologies. I feel like Toast has been getting better with the streamline in terms of online ordering, attract people, loyalty program, gift certificate, and then it's all in one. Technology has been evolved, and the reason, but some the equipment maybe might not fit with my scale. When my scale get bigger, everything need to be streamlined, need to be easy to look at, need to be like file, need to be easy to refund, need to be easy to like menu change every day.
Yeah.
How can we get the system that can be changed like super frequent?
Right.
So
Exactly.
I've been very happy with my system right now.
What up, unstoppable restaurant owners and operators? We have to interrupt today's video to let you know that Restaurant Unstoppable and Restaurant Systems Pro, we're taking our relationship to the next level. Beginning in July of 2024, Fred Langley, CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, is making himself available once a week in Restaurant Unstoppable Network to answer all of your restaurant systems questions, whether it's be profit margins. He will look at your P&L. Bring your P&L. He will take a look at that. He will dissect it. He will help you find your profit, whether that be through budgeting, inventory management, costing recipe cards, labor, checklists, you name it. He is a master on restaurant systems, and he's making himself available to you. Fred Langley and Restaurant Systems Pros started as a consulting firm, and for over 16 years, they've been helping their clients increase their profit by 10% or more. What are you waiting for? Click the link below to join our Facebook group, Restaurant Unstoppable Network.
Also, the consumer is eating your food differently today. So you have to be able to serve them beyond the four walls of your restaurant. You have to be able to reach them digitally so they can order. You have to adapt to consumer behavior, which is they want to be able to tap one button on their phone to order their food. Can you give them that?
Very quickly.
Yeah. So what were you using before Toast?
I use Clover.
And when did you move away from Clover to Toast?
Actually, last week.
Last week?
Wait, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
What was Clover not providing you?
User, I feel like user have a hard time, looking at like interacting system. I feel like Toast has more like thing to play out, like like when you have something like a kind of like loyalty program and thing like that, they're more like call to action.
Yeah.
I've tried to like new to Toast. Like, don't get me wrong, Clover probably good too, but I'm not getting commission from those.
Right.
But I find out like Toast has been such a good dashboard panel that you can see everything, see through. Like as a business owner, when you're not at a restaurant, you want to see like one thing in one page. You don't have time to like flip page.
Yeah.
So Toast can tell you this is the discount, this is customer, this is what item you sell in one page, and that's what I love the most.
Yeah. Were there any other POS systems you were shopping before purchasing Toast?
I look at the review, but I've been using Square, I've been using Clover, I've been using, back then it's Aloha for years and years and years. But now Toast probably like our recent one that we use.
Any other technology that you use in your restaurant?
Not much. I probably like in the future, I probably like will be like want to use like I don't know if it's coming to, it may be like just order from the, when you come in, they don't have time. They just put the order on the kiosk. Yeah, maybe. I don't want to go that route, but because we busy, we're busy every day. Like,
there's also data that supports that. You should look into Olo, because Olo is one of the so they started as online ordering, and they are now evolving to be also. They went from a digital presence of like only ordering from your phone or online to now they're moving to be a more holistic kiosk, like ordering from like a kiosk or like an iPad within the store, also reservations, and they're trying to to create like a one platform consumer facing digital experience. And there's a lot of data with the younger crowds that people prefer to go to a kiosk than to talk to a person. So it's what the consumers want.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Is it a little soulless? Maybe, but who knows? I don't know.
I have to check it out. That's a good information right there.
So what about like labor management?
Yeah, the new POS system has been telling me today how many percent that you use, because when they clock in, so you can see between revenue and labor is how associated with.
What about scheduling?
Yeah, they integrated with.
And is it Toast, or is it an integration with Toast?
Toast integrate with the Sling, so they're all in one.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you're using Toast for online ordering. Any other? That's it. That's the only technology that you're using right now is Toast.
Yeah, Toast.
Okay, cool. What are your favorite? Anything else we can unpackage there, or do you think we should move on?
Yeah, we can move on. Talk about the one thing that I have to fight right now.
So we kind of got to where you are today.
Yeah.
Right. So where are you today?
I have to say this 2024 has been the tough year for me, not financial wise, economy had kind of scary, as everyone know inflation, everyone talking about inflation, but I want to tell everyone that just keep working and, stay close to your business as much as you can, stay focused on it. If you see anything that you have to adjust, do it right away, because you don't know what's going to be next year. And for me, my health, I have been facing with the stage 1 of breast cancer.
So sorry to hear that.
It's a little bit tough, but I take that as silver lining for me, because I was lucky enough to get into early detect, and I want to tell everyone that. Oh my God, it's so like
No, I can imagine it must be very scary. You know, it's the C word. You
it's
know,
a little emotional.
yeah.
As much as you're entrepreneur and you're fighting with your number and everything, but don't forget about your health. you know.
Right.
Your health is your engine.
Do you
If-
think you forgot about your health?
I think so.
Yeah.
If you forget your engine, you stop.
Yeah.
So, as I know, like people that own restaurant working so hard to to fight with your competitor, survive with your labor, food costs, making yourself better. But yourself is your asset,
Yeah.
and I want to tell everyone that be good to yourself, like eat well, and then you live well, because that's your engine right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so important. And I think that you're hitting on a couple things that are really important. You know, when we think to the future, and like so Restaurant Unstoppable's mission statement is to change the world
Yeah.
through inspiring and empowering the restaurant industry, through finding people like you, learning through your life experience and saying like, this is where we are and this is where we can be. And where we can be is where these people spent their whole lives getting to realize like, this is where I need to be, taking care of myself,
Yeah.
taking care of my health, taking care of my community, providing opportunity for other people, not competing with the person down the street, but just locking arms with the person down the street and saying, let's do this together stronger.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's what I pull from this conversation in you. And I think that if we can focus on that, I think we need to tell this narrative to the consumer. I think you said this earlier. You need to preserve the history. We need to teach the people. We need to teach the next generation that this is special. What we're doing is special. And when you do the right thing, the sustainable thing for the environment, you take good food, you eat healthy food, we're healthier, our community is healthier. And I mean, I don't want to take away from your thunder right now, but I just feel like you're such a shining example of that.
Thank you.
Emshika. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's my next year, like 2025. I know my health has been tough, but guess what? I'm gonna be the most healthier than ever, and I'm gonna take this evolution. I'm gonna still teach my kid to, environment is very impact because we live in a white mountain that, we have skier and they rely on, climate and everything. So my 2025, my goal is to be very sustainable on using this to go products that more like compostable and things like that. That what I want to focus on, like environmental, and
Are there products you're looking into that have your attention?
Yeah, I've been using a few, my to go for fried food. I use like a kind of like a paper that, can leave a little hole that get the air in, but not plastic.
Yeah.
But I'm going to work so hard next year to keep more like environmental friendly for my to go packaging.
Is there a product that you've identified that you want to use in terms of like a manufacturer?
I don't remember the manufacturing, but I think it's in Seabrook, New Hampshire somewhere.
The
That
manufacturer?
Yeah. I have to find out.
I'm going to Google it right now. Environmental
packaging. Yeah.
Seabrook, New Hampshire. I'm asking because somebody recently reached out to me asking for a good brand. I mean, I get a lot. I know there's a lot out there, but like I don't have like one brand that like sticks out. So look, Plum Creek Environmental, is that it?
I heard of it, but it's gonna be like a thing that we knew. We need to start somewhere, right? If we all can help each other out with saving environment, I would I will work hard for it for the restaurant to be different.
If you find the name of that manufacturer that you're going to be investing in for your packaging next year or like soon, let me know because I want to spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know you do your homework.
Lovely.
Anything we haven't discussed today that you want to get out?
No, I think we wrap up everything. I just want to tell everyone that shout out to everyone that own a restaurant. I know you guys work hard, and I think I think you have to like keep going and unstoppable, just like your slogan. And
Yeah.
we'll survive.
Just keep
we'll
showing
be
up.
fine.
I mean, it's that hard and that easy. It's that easy and that hard, I should say. It's not easy to do, but it's really that simple. Keep showing up. Put your energy into your business. Don't get distracted. Do what you're doing better every day, and things will get better.
Yeah, and also if you need to find some help, to help with your like if I think sometimes people put too much on themselves to do. You cannot do everything by yourself.
Right.
You find some help.
Yeah. I have a couple questions
Yeah.
before we wrap it up that I ask all my guests. What is one thing about your business, a value, a process, a system that's uncommon and makes you truly unstoppable?
Keep your value going. Keep your value going.
I love that.
Yeah.
The mission statement is to change the world by inspiring, empowering, and transforming the industry. I think if we're going to do that, we're going to make an example of individuals who have transformed over time. So who are you and how are you better today? How have you transformed?
I transform by learning. I transform by and learning keep me and myself that gave me like a better asset, better people.
Yeah.
So I learning from the best, learning from the good, and then you evolve yourself. And don't remember yourself is your asset, is your value. So keep that shy.
I love that. This is the last question. If you got the news, you'd be leaving the world tomorrow. This world tomorrow. All the memories of you, your work, and your restaurants would be lost with your departure, with the exception of 3 pieces of wisdom that you could leave behind for the good of humanity and this legacy, or your legacy. What would those 3 pieces of wisdom be?
Integrity,
1,
adaptable,
2,
peace.
3. This has been a lot of fun, Emshika. If we really resonated with today's conversation and we want to reach out to you, we have questions, maybe we want to come work for you, or maybe we just want to come eat at your restaurants, what's the best way to connect?
If you come to my restaurant, reach out. We have social media, Instagram, Facebook, Chang Thai Cafe, CHANGTHAICAFE, Chang Thai Cafe. You found us. We are in the Littleton, New Hampshire, White Mountain.
Beautiful
93
drive
North.
up here.
Beautiful
by the way.
drive, yes.
Yeah.
Very unique town. So you know what? You come to me, come to Chang Thai is my home. And I want to tell everyone that if you ask me like what Chang means family, fortune, and friendly. So we keep that value going.
Thai family.
Yes.
I love it. Beautiful. And last question before we officially wrap up. I try to have this question be my North Star. This is how I want to find people to make an example of. I think success recognizes success. And I want to know, who do you think I should get on the show? Who do you respect and admire and believe is doing it right and is fiscally responsible, making money, and has something that they can share with the next generation of leaders like you? Who is that for you?
You mean in this town or like overall?
This town, this state, this country, anybody who you think I need to talk to.
So I would like Chris Vial to be on Restaurant Unstoppable show because I respect his value as much as I do.
Chris Vio is a past guest on the show. It's been, I think, almost 5 years or more since we've had him on the show, and he's one of those people that I would love to strengthen my relationship with and go deeper. I know he's done a lot over the past few years, so there's a lot to unpackage there. I'd love to get Chris on the show, and this is where I say thank you so much. I literally cannot do what I do without people like you who make this show possible, getting open, getting vulnerable. And I want to end today's chat by pointing out something that you said to me. And I hope you remember what you said to me when we got started. I asked you if it was okay. I warned you that I was going to ask you about numbers, and if you were open to talk about numbers. Do you remember what you told me when I asked you that? You said people like down the street worry about sharing numbers. Can you share that sentiment? If you can remember what you were saying before, hopefully I struck your memory.
Oh, when you're gonna fail.
What's that?
Is that what it is? What you mean?
Yeah, well, I think before we hit record, I think I asked you if you were okay with sharing numbers. And you said people are afraid to share numbers because they're worried about what other owners are going to think.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, sometimes it's hard because in living in a small town, when they see the number, they feel like, oh, like why she make this, or maybe opportunity to have that. But then I just want to be, again, I share the number. I just think that this is what I can make it happen, and if I can make it happen, you can make it happen too. But then we are living in a small town, but don't forget that we just have a little small of space that we can share on. I think whatever we have right now is good enough.
Yeah, and I think we got to share the information, because if we don't, then it's going to be harder and harder to keep these small operations going.
Exactly.
So we have to go. I think we just have to choose to go further together.
Yeah.
Thank you again for everything. There is no questioning. You are unstoppable.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Cheers.